Okay, welcome back to next session. Now, having seen about the data security and the issues which are there in the data security protection and the accessibility, now let us concentrate on a very important issue called as data security, information security, and what is privacy, and how to have the policies in order to have a protected data access. So, let us begin. Data security, privacy and protection are overlapping but technically distinct concepts. Security has a broader scope aimed to protect digital information not just from the unauthorized access but also from the intentional loss, unintentional loss and corruption. While data privacy primarily focuses on the confidentiality part of the CIA, we have already seen in the last lecture CIA triad. A data security is equally concerned with the information integrity and accessibility. For example, imagine threat actor obtain a confidential file, but encryption successfully prevent from reading of the data. Information itself stays inaccessible and data privacy remains intact. So, attackers are still able to corrupt or destroy the eligible file, however, which is a security failure. So, data privacy is the goal is to make sure that ways of organization collect, store and use sensitive data are responsible and in compliance with the regulation authorities or regulations. Privacy policies and measures prevent unauthorized parties from accessing the data regardless of their motivation and whether they are internal or external end user or third party partner or maybe a external threat agent. Protection naturally protect the data from backup and recoverability. Okay. So, in 2017, economists declared the world's most valuable resource is no longer the oil but the data. That is why data science, data analytics, everything comes under around the data only. Unfortunately, data is more difficult to protect and easier to steal. It presents enormous opportunity to not just business but also for the criminals to have the access to the data, and every government, every nation is more worried about the accessibility of the data, especially in India. Aadhaar card detail, banking detail, booking detail, okay, our air freight detail, every detail are able to get into the criminal hand. So, today enterprise face a uphill battle when it comes to securing of data and consider the following risking and challenges. So, look at the three threats insider. I am a person who is compromised. So, threat actors who have stolen a legitimate employee's credential pose as authorized user, utilizing their account to exfiltrate sensitive data. Employees often do not know that they have been compromised. So, this is the first kind of a insider threat. Second kind of threat is your negligent. Employees without the proper security awareness training can inadvertently misuse or expose confidential data to the outside world, often as a result of social engineering, because a lot of people are collected on the social website. Lost or stolen devices or incorrectly sent email and files. The third one is very important, malicious. Bad actors such as current or former employees, third parties or partners use their privileged access to steal the intellectual property rights or property data or company data for a fraudulent activity or for committing a fraud. Sabotage, espionage, revenge or even to the blackmail. So, you can see that these three categories of the inside threat are much more dangerous than the outside evil. Okay, so these are all the threats about the insider, as just now I told you. Then we have misconfiguration and third party risk. Misconfiguration is technically misconfiguration pose another major threat problem, regularly resulting from a accidental exposure of confidential data set. So, this is another problem of the misconfiguration in the data. Third party risk, whenever we are supplying a third party software or third party is accessible to the data, we are more vulnerable to the accessibility of the data. So, What is the best security policies? How to secure? So, effectively mitigate risk and grapple with the challenges listed above. Enterprise should follow a security as a best policy method or practices. Okay. So, we have organization must start with the inventory of what data they would like to have the security and where and how it is to be done. So, let us see how the details are there. Access control, cloud security and data backup. Access control, who is going to access? Cloud security, we have IaaS, PaaS and SaaS available. So, sometimes the cloud is public, sometimes the cloud is private or sometimes the hybrid cloud. So, security concern on the cloud computing is also very high. Then backup issues we know already. So, we have a word called a data lifetime management, DLM. A data undergoes a lot of changes from the inception to the use. Okay. So, DLM is a automated approach to keep massive amount of digital information very accurate, confidential, secure and available, and destroying it in a safe and timely manner. In keeping the enterprise policies all while meeting relevant compliance requirement. DLM and policies are based on the data attributes such as type, size, age and classification. So, main phase of this life cycle are following: generation and collection of the data, processing and storing, using, archiving and finally destruction. So, you can see here a technological and pyramid is here. I am showing you a pyramid having 4 tier: tier 0, tier 1, tier 2, tier 3. Tier 3, let us start with the tier 3. Tier 3 is your archive, long-term archive and dollar per gigabyte of what we call as a storage principle. Tier 2 is your SATA or backup and disaster recovery, email, file and print and dollar per terabyte. So, you can see here the dollars are used by the gigabyte, here dollars are used in the terabyte. Primary storage, data mining principle, business processing, high performance computing, balance of the gigabyte and internal IOP, input output processing charges. And tier 0 is your financial transactions, e-commerce, ultra performance and the charges are per dollar. So, DLM2, okay. So, tools can automatically sort data into separate tiers based upon the specific policies, and this let enterprise use a storage facility for resources sharing and then assigning a top priority to data for a high performance and storage. So, this kind of hierarchy we can use it, and we can use the DLM tool in our data science to protect our data. So, ultimately we have patch management, security awareness training and user behavior analysis. Patch management, if there is a patch or there is a software vulnerability, you quickly fix it. Security awareness, you have to train the people, and then finally user behavior analysis. This is how people who are being fired from the company, they become disgruntled employees, and or other people who have a different behavior pattern can also give a threat to the company. So, what are the policies and securities in the, okay. So, security policies for data and information, they are data and information I am using interchangeably. So, sometimes the word data security policy, sometimes information security policy, the meaning is same. We have already seen about 3 CIA: confidentiality, integrity and availability as shown in the triad diagram. So, what is the policy? Guide the implementation of technical controls, set clear expectations, help meet regularity and compliance requirements, improve organizational efficiency and protect an organization asset, both physical and digital too, and identify all company asset and the threat to them. So, security policies are living document, they are the living document, they are written document that are continuously updated as the technology updates. Vulnerability and security requirement also keeps on changing. It is important to tailor IT security policies or security policies for the, our data and information as a IT specific need of a organization. A organization size, nature, structure and culture should also form the development of the security policy. So, security policy for a pharmacy will be different, security policy for a garment industry will be different, security policy for a educational institution will be different because of their nature, size, structure and cultural information. Now, let us see some of the common policies. Number 1, Acceptable user policy AUP, define how computer system can be used by whom, including computer, mobile devices, network, email and other internet services. So, that is what we call as a AUP, acceptable user policy. Second is remote access policy, lower the risk of unauthorized access and extend the responsibility of employee while accessing the company's network outside of the domain of the work premises. Third is network security, ensure the confidentiality, integrity and availability of the data on company systems by following a specific procedure for conducting a security and activity which is reviewed periodically too. Password, we already know, keeps on changing. We have to have a good password and it has to be changed periodically and updated password. This is especially true for banking application. The bank wants that people should change their password periodically and the password should not be the same as the previous one. It should be differ by 3 or 4 characters so that it will give you a better security policy. Okay. Then what is the importance? Importance is facilitate the data integrity, availability and confidentiality and protect sensitive information and minimize the risk of security incidents. So, this is the importance of our security policy. It also executes a program across the organization and provide a clear security statement to the third party and finally comply with the regulatory requirement. We have elements of information or data security policy. Number 1, purpose. First, state the purpose of the policy, which may be create overall approach for information security, especially touches standards, security requirement and best practices to be adopted by the organization. Point number 2 is detect and preempt information security breaches such as misuse of the network. We have already seen about the security breaches, data protection and computer system. Maintain the reputation of the organization, very critical and very important, especially for banking or financial institution where the security cannot be compromised. Uphold ethical and legal responsibilities as acceptable governance. Respect employees and customer rights, including how to react to inquiries and complaint about the non-compliance too. So, you can see here I have a security policy or a security framework, purpose, audience, information security objective, authority and access control policy, data classification, data support and operation, security awareness and behavior and responsibility, rights and duties of the people or personnel. Okay. So, audience, for which group of the people your policy is being in effect. So, that is called audience. Security objective, we have 3 objectives, CIA we have already seen about. Okay. And then we have a hierarchical plan. This hierarchical plan security is very good for the banking application or the financial institution application. A clerk cannot put a signature for 50,000 and above check and things like that. So, we have a very clear cut hierarchical pattern. Then network security policy gives me from one bank to another, if a ID is there, biometric, password, all things are used for the authentication purposes. So, you can see that it gives you a better security policy. Classification, we can say a data can be classified as top secret, secret, confidential or maybe public. So, sometime the deal is top secret or secret, confidential, your internal information and may be made public otherwise too. So, these are all some of the objectives of the what you call as a security data policy. And data support and operation, protect the regulation, backup and movement of the data. We have seen about the 3 stationary data, on the fly data and moving the data from one place to another. So, you can use all these support devices and operation for security policies using protocol, encryption and other technique on the public network. We have to have a very good security awareness and behavior. So, you use a security awareness campaign to the people, to the customer, to the employer and other people, because your information is very sensitive and the sensitive information goes with the security mode. Then social engineering, don't give all the details, personal detail, you have to report to the people, and because social engineering is becoming very popular nowadays. Okay, so people make phone call, people will give you all kinds of information. So, educate people not to give the information, especially personal information. Clean desk policy, secure laptop with clock and all those things. We have a clean desk, and you can use a YouTube, social media, website, and all those things. Block unwanted website using a proxy. This is the best way we can avoid to getting into the problem. Encryption policy, we already know. We use the encryption. We can use a 32-bit or a 62-bit or 128-bit encryption like a RSA algorithm or any other algorithm to give a very good secured connection and very good password secured way. Backup policy, we can also give a backup policy. We can take a periodic backup, maybe on a day-to-day basis, or maybe a weekly basis or a monthly basis. So we can use a backup. We can also use a incremental backup policy, or we can use a backup for all the details of the transactions too. So this is another policy. Responsibilities, rights and duties of the people. Naturally, every staff member has to be given a particular responsibility, particular duty, and the way to perform the operation on the data. And we have a system hardening benchmark. So we have Center for Information Security for Linux operating system, Windows operating system, Amazon Web Services, and Kubernetes. So we can have a different benchmarking available for all. And we can have a references to all these policies available. We have GDPR, we have California. Just in the last slide also I said about the CCPA, PCI DSS, SOX, and HIPAA. HIPAA is more very good for health insurance companies. So as I was talking about, so let us try to see the last part of our discussion. So we have to have compliances on the regulatory policies. So information security policy should also refer to regulations and compliances laid down by the standard. So we have standards like GDPR, we have standard like CCPA, PCI DSS or SOX, and very important is our Health Insurance Portability Act, Accountability Act, HIPAA. So this gives us a complete overview about the data security, information security, and the policies and then compliances we have to adhere to. So a breach will give us a lot of trouble, and that is what we call a breach. Sometime you have to have a mind and sometime you have to have a heart. So you have to have a balance between the two. Security policies, data security, and the constraint will have to be met with the policies, so that it gives a complete overview about the data security policies and the compliances about. So with this I end the session. Thank you.